Hello, everybody. This is Bill Calvinson. Once again, Rebel Without Applause, coming to you from, what's the name of this synagogue again? Lazama Synagogue here in the Mellah of Marrakech. And because the world is small, I'm here and I bumped into some family friends so far away. They're from the valley, the Novak family, that are friendly with my mother. And where, of all places, could two Jews from the valley meet, but in a synagogue in Marrakech. So, Mrs. Novak, I have a very popular podcast, and so I'm on the road with my podcast.
Oh, really?
It's called Rebel Without Applause, and I've taken it on the road here, and I thought you and I could have a little chat for my podcast. So I want to introduce you again. She's from the valley. She's Mrs.
Marcia Novak.
Mrs. Marcia Novak, and yours is the first familiar voice that I've heard in the 2 weeks that I've been here in Morocco. I feel like I've been the only American that I've known or seen or come across, except for my cousin, whose wife, like I mentioned, is from an old Jewish family in Tangier. Tell me, what prompted you to come so far? After all, we're neighbors, and you look so familiar and you're so beautiful.
Thank you.
What prompted you to come all the way across the world to visit Marrakech in Morocco?
Well, we have traveled quite a bit, and we're in our waning years. And actually, our original plan was to go to Portugal because we have not yet been there. So we said, well, we're so close to Morocco, we need to go there.
And do you make a visit of all the synagogues in the various places that you go to?
We definitely do, as much as we are able to.
Now, one of the feelings that I have, and I'm curious to know your feelings, is I come to these temples, they're beautiful, they're restored. I feel a sense of pride that Jewish people have been living amongst all the people for millennia, not centuries. And this is a synagogue that was started after the Inquisition, but the Jews had been here before. These are the latest arrivals, their temple. These are the Spanish Jews. But sometimes it makes me, honestly, I feel sad that there's, the only thing you can do is buy old menorahs, and there's the Jews are gone. They're not here. They're elsewhere. And as much of a blessing Israel is, I think one of the sadnesses of it is that all these incredibly rich and old communities were vacated. And they were not vacated specifically in Morocco at the point of a gun or a spear. Like my mother was born in Berlin. Okay, they had to get out. Right. But that wasn't the case here. I think I feel a little bit of sadness about that. I'm curious what you think.
Well, ironically, you mentioned that because I'm currently reading a book about the Jews of Kerala in India, and it's the same thing. They lived this beautiful life in Kerala with Christians and Muslims. They were neighbors, they were friends, and they too went to Israel. There are no Jews left. There may be just a handful, and they missed the life that they had. They thrived in Israel, but they lived with the constant conflict. And this is the part I've just read, where they wanted only to go back to where there was peace and where they had neighbors from all faith traditions that they were friends with. But for the most part, I don't know. I know we have one cousin who's from Morocco, whose family is from Morocco, that are in Israel, and he married into our family. But there's so much Jewish history here. I had no idea how much. It's fascinating.
Yeah, the Jewish footprint on Morocco is huge.
It is huge, especially.
But the people are gone, essentially. Now, my cousin's wife's mother is Jewish, and she still lives in Tangier, and she maintains a household, and she's kind of the grande dame of all things Jewish in Morocco, and does quite a bit to, all these restoration projects. But without the people, I find it a little bit, I don't know, triste, a little sad.
It is sad.
And people don't talk about the flip side of what was lost with everybody congregating in one place, Israel, or the United States for that matter.
Right. I agree. It is sad, but it's also very exciting to see how much Jewish history there is in these places and how important it is. It's the first place they take us. And I just think it's incredible. It's incredible.
And it offers up for me, so with, tell me your name again, I'm sorry. Muhammad. This alternate narrative about the relationship between Jews and people, of the Muslim faith. It's not always, we grew up, at least I did, on this adversarial kind of idea, locked in this interminable conflict, when in fact there's actually another story. There's a deeper narrative that precedes the state of Israel and goes back into antiquity. And I feel like people are starting to go, wait a minute, this thing that's happened in our last century isn't the whole story.
Right. And sadly, in our country today, we are living through that kind of bad time in our own country.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
well, yeah, the billionaire brat boy.
I can't get away from it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're all suffering under the same cloud. Yeah, we.
It's shades of past histories that are not happy histories. And especially as Jews and as Muslims who are suffering the most right now.
Can I say something? I think in your country, which is the U.S., the KKK is still existing. If we go back a little bit to history, and you see all the atrocities of the KKK against the black people, about the Hispanic, about the Jews, about the Arab, about everyone. So now KKK has taken another form, another dress, another color, okay, differently. But my message, which is going to be very brief, Morocco is a land of symbiosis and cohabitation and living togetherness. In Morocco, we have never known this kind of things. So in this way, I have to make a clarification about a confusion of many words. Judaism, it's different from Zionism or Masonism. Yeah. Judaism is different. Yeah. This is what we are living here with in Morocco. Zionism, it's what's existing in the World Bank, in the Wall Street, in some parts of the Israeli government, and all those people that think money before human souls and before love. So that would be my word.
Well, thank you for your kind offering on behalf not only of yourself, but of your country, and more importantly, of a worldview that embraces multicultural tolerance, the family of man, humanity, the great monotheistic faiths that came out of antiquity that left older belief systems in sort of the trash heap of history, and we're standing on the foundations of that. And even though there's no Jews here, it's quite possible that things could change. After all, one thing I think about Jewish history is that Jews travel light. They move around. And there's these great exoduses, and of course, this temple was here because the people had to get the hell out of Spain. And personally, my mother was fortunate enough to escape Germany with her life and family. And even in my own life, I was fortunate enough to escape the San Fernando Valley. So all of these great stories of incredible exoduses are part of our history. And I wanted everybody to reintroduce ourselves, because we're sitting here in the synagogue. I always forget the names. Tell me the name.
Salat L'Azama, which means the prayer of L'Azama.
The prayer of L'Azama, Salat L'Azama, this old synagogue, not ancient. Really, it's a new place, not only because it's been restored, but in the Jewish history, 1492 is pretty recent. It's not that old.
But a topic that I raised with Marsha and Mark before we get into this synagogue, and I have my own researches from the Old Testament in the Bible that goes that 12 Jewish tribes were supposed to immigrate with Moses when he was given recommendation by Allah, God, to leave Egypt as soon as possible and to go and cross the Red Sea by the magic stick. Only 7 tribes went with him. So what becomes of the 5 others? 900 years later, another pharaoh, a young one, crazy, persecuted and discriminated and chased away the 5 tribes from Israel. So what happens? They went, spread, panicked into North Africa and the Middle East, and they reached as far as Ethiopia, which was called once before Habasha, and where from they comes now the Falashas, the black ones. So this is the origin of the first Jewish community in Morocco, which is, if the Jewish calendar now, it's 5777 minus the 900 years between the movement of the 2 fractions of tribes, the first 7 tribes and the second 5 tribes, which makes up in all 12 in the Old Testament. So the Jewish existence in here, it's 49 centuries old.
Wow, and no pension plan. Who knew? Well, you guys have been great. I want everybody to introduce themselves, because not only are it's a happenstance meeting in a faraway place, but these folks are from the little same neighborhood of tennis and the little Jewish shtetl of the San Fernando Valley inside the Mellah of Tarazena and Encino. There's little Mellah, it's called Braemar, where the Jews, they play the tennis with the ball and they hit the golf over the hill and they go to the beach and they make money in L.A.
I do have to give a little commercial, though.
Okay, go ahead.
Because the San Fernando Valley is a very diverse community. We're not all Jewish by any means, and we have created an interfaith organization called the Interfaith Solidarity Network. And we did this following our election in 2016, when we were suffering anti-Semitism and Islamophobia in our own communities.
What's your role in this organization?
Co-founder of the organization with my friend Soraya Dean, who is Muslim, and we do a lot of good work in the valley.
Well, that's very impressive, and you're following footsteps of Mahatma Gandhi, and that is, you are the change you seek. Bravo, bravo. What's your name?
Rashid.
Ashid, thank you so much. I'm Bill. And what's the name of the instrument? What would be the word for the instrument?
Is the name of instrument is Laud.
Laud, like lute, laud.
King is the king of all instruments, music instruments, Arabic.
Lute. The first laud came from where?
From I think it's from Andalus, in Spain.
In Spain.
When the Arab come to Andalus in Spain, they come with them oud.
Laud. And it's spread. It's spread. And what's your name?
My name is Yassin.
You see, and you're from here in Marrakech?
Yes, I live here in Marrakech.
Do you live in Medina or you just outside?
I live in Medina.
What do you want to study?
To have the source of language, you should learn Latin at first, and you will know everything about other languages.
But Arabic, what is the source of Arabic?
For me, I think the Arabic is similar like Hebrew. Shalom, Salam.
Shalom, salam. Shalom, salam. Shalom, salam. Yeah, so we're cousins.
Yes. Why? Because Abraham was two wives. Wife Sarah and Hajar. Sarah born Ishaq. Ishaq born Yaqub, Jacob. And Hajar born Ismail.
This is my very last night here, folks, in Marrakech, and I've had a very privileged encounter here in one of the smaller back alleys of the Medina in Marrakech. I had some alone time after a dinner in the plaza. I felt like nothing and everything at the same time. All the humanity swirling around me, all the noises, the people, the selling, the food, the juices. There's so much stimuli here. in the Medina of Marrakech. And so from the larger plaza, as fate would have it, I found myself down one of the artisan alleyways not far from the riad that I'm staying in. And I was sort of requisitioned. Somebody approached me, and I found myself in the back room surrounded by the riches of the desert and the Atlas Mountains, the Berber culture and all its beautiful renderings of necklaces and timepieces and astrolabes and scimitars and knives and swords and mirrors and plates. And the man sitting across from me now is in this classic Berber headdress with the beautiful flowing robes. He has rings on every finger. He's well coiffed with beautiful sideburns, mustache and beard. Moulay Idris, who is the owner and operator of the Berber Gallery, and it's a reliquary of all things Berber. Actually, Morocco essentially is a Berber country. In its original political manifestation, it was ruled by Berbers by the name of Moulay Idris. And Moulay Idris is sitting with me, and he may not be king of Morocco, but he is king in his own castle, and he's with me here tonight. First, tell me where you're from.
I'm original from the Tuareg, the blue people, Bedouin in blue peoples. Then I come here to do my business with different art of the Berbers in jewelry from the Berbers. Mm-hmm. And my father, he take that work from the Jewish people. People before a long time have Jewish here. He make the jewelry. He bring the design, the art from the jewelry. My father, he come to take that work from the Jewish people. My father, he lived before with the Jewish. We don't have any difficulty. We live, all of us is a brother and sister for all of the world. If the old people take it like that, they don't have any problem in that world. 10,000 welcome. Anybody come to that country, welcome. Morocco is green, is happy. 10,000 welcome to Morocco, to the Berber, to the Sahara, welcome. 10,000 welcome. Anybody want to come?
So tell me something about the blue people.
I'm talking to your reality. I'm salad mix. My father is a blue people. Then my mom is from the Berber, from the Berber in the mountains. But my father is Tuareg. The blue people, he live in desert between Mauritania, in Morocco, in Algeria, in Mali, is called Azawad. The place is called Azawad. It's the real big desert. Is called desert, the big desert, Desert Cobra Desert, very big.
So your father traveled large distances across the desert. Was he part of these caravans as a trader?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. My father, he big travels man, and me, I take the place in him. Is about now 10 years my father is dead. Then I take the place. I'm chief of the tribe. I go to travel different countries. Then I show different peoples. Then I love my country and I love all of the world. I like the people. I believe all of us is a brother and sister for all of the world. And I like it. That's from my heart. You don't have any jealousy. You don't have any racisms. A peace. I like the peace, and all of the world is a peace.
All right. So you're half from the blue people,
And half of the Berber.
and half of the Berber. So the blue people are not necessarily Berber people.
No.
No.
This is the desert. Is from the Sahara.
So from the Sahara.
The blue people is from the Berber is from the mountains. The blue in Bedouin people is from the desert. You call Hassani.
Hassani.
Yeah, the language is called Hassani.
So you're from the part from the desert.
And part from the mountains.
And did your dad meet your mother because he was traveling as a trader?
Exactly.
And love flourished.
Flores, then he come, married, and
Now, you have a very important name,
yeah,
Moulay Idris.
is the king. That's a name. What I have is a name of the first prophet of the God. Is Nabi Idris. Second one, he come, that's a name about the Morocco king before the Adarisa is coming. You have Idris al-Awwal, Idris Thani, then after is come al-Alawiyin. Alawiyin now is like Muhammad V, and you have Muhammad Hassan II, Muhammad V, also is good people for that country, and I like to be make happy that country, and I come also to that country to make happy all of the world. I like that's the peace. I am peace man. I like the peace.
Moulay Idris preceded the Alawite kingdom, the family that is the current rulers of Morocco today. So I'm looking at the walls here, and I see all this incredible handiwork and jewelry. Just tell me, you made travels and did some of the same work that your father did.
Yes, I go, then I bring all my jewelry from the Sahara. Then I sell to the big city here. Believe I have a lot of different people, different countries. I come to make my exhibition here. Thank you for the king. He give us the place to make business, to help us. Also, he's good man. He help us. Then I come to help my family. I come here to help my poor family. Is to sell all my jewelry here. And
Send the money back to your family.
my family.
And your family lives in Mauritania, is that correct?
Between, yeah.
And tell me the name of the capital.
Nouakchott.
Nouakchott is the capital of Mauritania, which is the country that occupies the southern border on the Atlantic coast below Morocco. And I have a question for you. So when you're out in the desert with these tribal people and you show up, and I imagine a tent and carpets, and you go in and they open up a chest, do you trade with them or do you pay cash? How do you?
I swap with him the some things. Then something I can pay by money, something I can swap. He give me the piece. Then I give him like a green or like sugar or like something. I swap there.
Okay. And so what are the things that they want?
I bring to him the food, the dress to swap with him, the sugar, oils, and a lot of things you can swap with him. You don't have there in the desert, like olive oil, you don't have there. I swap, he give me the jewelry, I give him like 5 liters of oil. I swap with him the things.
And when you travel to these places, how do you get there?
I have a car, a bigger car, 4x4. I take it, the merchandise with that. Then after I take the camel also to travel in the desert by camel, not by 4x4. Just the car from my tribe till to the big city Marrakech, I come by car.
And when you go by camel, is it 5 camels, 3 camels, 2 camels?
14 camels.
10 camels. So you have to hire the camels and the riders and the camels. Do you travel with other people or yeah,
Other brothers, family.
your family?
Yeah.
So your family is well known in these areas. And the best place to sell is it Marrakech or Fes?
Marrakech is the best place to be. Is the capital of the handicraft art Morocco. Is the more important to come. A lot of people, different people, different countries, and also here is good for buy the tanks. Not like in Fez, is little bit pushing or you make push the tourist here, no problems.
So you find it's just a better selling environment here than in Fes.
Then in Fez, then Tangier. Also Moroccan people, he come to buy. If he want to buy some handicraft art, he come to Marrakech. Moroccan people, not only the tourists. Moroccan people, if you want to buy some tanks, he buy in Marrakech.
Wow. So not only did I take a step back down an alleyway, but I took a trip back in time with this beautiful man, Moulay Idris, and I'm surrounded by the reliquary or the artifacts that come from the distant regions of the Sahara. How many tribes do you think are represented here in terms of the work that I'm looking at?
21 tribe. Each tribe different than the others. Never find two similars. Believe each tribe you have her cross. In like the cart, you use the cross like the cart. Each tribe different than others. You have 21 tribe.
And some tribes are probably easier to deal with than others?
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to deal with the others. You can marry with you make a mixed marriage like salad mix. No problems.
And how long did your father do this kind of work?
My father he do all her life, that's a work. Now he's dead about 10 years. He worked with the Jewish people, and he take that jewelry from the Jewish. Believe the Jewish people is the best people for the jewelry. He make it the jewelry is the best people.
So your father learned from Jewish craftspeople, and the Jews just historically in the desert, in these tribal areas, these Berber Jews were very advanced in the handicrafts of jewelry, and I guess a lot of those skills were passed on to everybody else. And let's see, I was looking at one piece that I'm going to purchase, and let's talk about it. Tell me about it.
That is ebony wood. That is ebony wood with silver, with the onyx stone in silver, all work by handmade. And that piece is ebony wood is very good also for the people allergic, and is very good for rheumatism peoples. With silver, he clean the blood also. The silver he clean. Onyx is for the bad eyes, and that is all the piece. Nice piece, good karma inside. Believe people, he make it for herself, not for selling.
And these were made by Berber craftspeople in the mountains.
Yeah.
In the mountains. Wow. Well, what a cool conversation we've had, Moulay Idris. Tell me once again about your store. This is Berber Crafts, right?
There is a Berber gallery. We live a Berber gallery, but my store is a Berber gallery. 10,000 welcome chez the brothers. Is a brother gallery chez les frères. Is the meaning.
Chez les Frères, Berber Gallery.
Berber gallery chez les frères.
And it's in the heart of the Medina.
Riyad Zitoun Lakdim.
Riyad Zitoun.
Touala, Riyad Zitoun Lakdim, number 177.
Okay. Tell me just say the address again.
Riyad Zitoun Lakdim. Number of the store is Berber Gallery is 177.
So if you get a chance, my listening friends, to get to Marrakech, and you'll be looking for crafts, you'll be bombarded with all manner of jewelry and artisans and salesmen. If you can find Moulay Idris in his store, you can tell him that Bill sent you from a Rebel Without Applause, and I know he's going to give you a good price because he's promised he'd give me a good price. But more importantly, you'll have a great human experience, and you'll take a trip back into time and history and culture, and it's an altogether unique corner of our little universe. And one last thing before we go, we're looking at the Amazir.
Amazir is a town of the Berbers, is the Berber people, and he's mean like a man free. People is free. Amazir is Berber people, is the first people of Morocco, is the Amazir.
And we're going to conclude a transaction, probably with a little more bargaining, and hopefully I will walk out of here with a beautiful necklace and some really fun memories, because tomorrow I'm on the plane back to the land of law. And until next time, folks, adios, goodbye, and salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Marhaba, welcome anytime. 10,000 welcome to the Berber Gallery.
la 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 la